Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope y'all had a great day. You feel what I'm saying? I got a little bit of a cold right now, man, having back pain and all types of shit, man. You know what I mean? I wasn't even really going to do this live for real, but, and I'm tired than a motherfucker, you feel me? But, it is what it is, man. This is part of the consistency. You feel what I mean? So we're going to get up on here and we're going to chop it up for the people. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. We got some things that we currently need to discuss that's going on in the boxing world, man. We're going to talk about Eddie Hearn sending Brian Norman another offer for a unification fight with Jaron Ennis. And then we're going to talk about Teofimo Lopez addressing black media. And my take on this whole situation may be a little bit surprising to you, but we definitely going to have this conversation, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. Shout out to the boy Forever Dedicated. He said, Mark, Jason Tatum injured. Is he really? I don't know if you're trying to be funny because a lot of motherfuckers be saying I look like Jason Tatum and shit, but regardless, that's not good. You feel me? But from what I heard, he hasn't really been doing well in the playoffs. I don't know, though. I don't really be catching on, watching basketball all like that. You feel me? Simba Boxing, what up? Big Soldier MX, what up? Southwest Dice, he said no running rule is racist. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Like, the rule in itself isn't necessarily racist, but who they're attempting to use that rule against makes it racist. So I definitely understand what you're saying. Coffee Plant, what up? Yeah, Forever, he be trolling sometimes. He definitely be trolling. There'll be a few of y'all that be on here trolling. You know what I mean? But y'all only be trolling. Most of y'all be trolling only in the comments, like, after the video or the live is over. You feel me? Like, they be throwing little shots on the low. That should be funny, though. I'll be laughing. You know what I mean? I'll be looking at some of the shit y'all be saying sometimes and be laughing. But we got some things that we need to discuss, people. Let's get them likes up. Let's get them likes up. You know what I mean? Let's get these likes up. We doing real well. We about to hit that 2,900 mark, man. Let me see how far away we are from that goal. Let me see. Where we at? Ooh, wait. We only need 15 more subscribers, bro. We only need 15 more subscribers till we hit that 2,900 mark. Ain't that amazing? Isn't that sensational? Justin Jackson, what up? Shout out to the boy Anonymous letting people know that Mazuma TV is live. Salute. Let's see where we at. What's going on? What we talking about, man? But before we get into the main topics, is there any topics y'all saw or y'all want to speak on? Y'all see Jake Paul out here developing a powerhouse of women boxers, man. Absolutely phenomenal work by Jake Paul. This man got Amanda Serrano. He just signed Alicia Baumgartner not too long ago. Now he just signed two huge women boxers back to back. It's Savannah Marshall and Chantel Cameron, I believe. I believe that's how you say her name. If I said it wrong, my apologies. But regardless, this man, Jake Paul, is slowly but surely starting to develop like a dream team of women's fighters, bro. And I really think that what Jake Paul is doing, in all honesty, besides, being an advocate for women's boxing, I really think that he's taking advantage of what these other promoters are taking for granted. I think Jake Paul is really understanding that the mindless consumer, what up? I think he's understanding that female boxing is at an all-time high. He sees the potential in female boxing because of what Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor have been doing as of lately in terms of generating numbers and creating a lot of attention. I'm sure he sees what Clarissa Shields is doing as well. There's been some big moments that's been going on in female boxing, and it's garnering more attention than ever. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's like, yo, if I really, really push this, I could really take female boxing to the next level. Jake Paul is a very intelligent businessman, bro. You know what I mean? The way that he was able to transition from, social media on YouTube and shit like that, to from Disney to YouTube to doing all these deals. Like he got his own like deodorant now called like W or something like that. How the way this man was able to really become a name in the sport of boxing with no boxing experience at all. It takes a certain type of businessman, a different type of dedication in this field of boxing to really transition that well. You feel what I'm saying? I think a lot of these promoters are lazy. I've been saying this for a long time now. I feel like a lot of these promoters don't really want to promote anymore. Like if we see how the way Don King used to promote fights and shit, with his charisma, his instigating and stuff like that, and really now everything is like all like serious and cordial, and these press conferences be boring as shit. These guys, they don't even know they don't even be setting up these fighters to do like interviews with like syndicated shows and stuff like that. Like these guys, like they don't really promote anymore. They just want to do a press conference. They want to do a weigh-in. They want to tell you that tickets are available. Take your ticket money. Take whatever the fuck. They take your money and then they go disappear. And they might do a post-fight press conference. Like this is what these promoters do nowadays. These guys do not push fighters, and they really just expect fighters to promote themselves. They just want to put on the shows, and they have no choice but to put the money up. But besides that, these guys don't really do what is in their job description. So I like what Jake Paul is doing for female boxing. I've always liked the fact that Jake Paul has been contributing to boxing, especially what he's been doing in Puerto Rico. His nonprofit organization, Boxing Bullies, creating, renovating boxing gyms all throughout the island and, stuff like that. So Jake Paul, he's been doing a lot for the sport of boxing, and I appreciate him for that. And I always say, regardless of who you are, if you're pushing towards if you're, pushing the boxing culture forward, then I salute it, regardless of how the way you do it. You feel me? Regardless of who you are. So salute to Jake Paul for that. That's Chantel Cameron, and Savannah Marshall, great signings. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Serrano, pretty much like the face of, MVP's female stable, great signing. Alicia Bumgarner, she a drug cheat. It is what it is. But she's still a top female fighter, one of the most popular fighters, female-wise in the game. So that was a smart signing as well. So salute. Coffee Plant said, heard Amanda Serrano was making $5K a fight. Now she's seeing M's. That's a fact. If y'all go look up her previous interviews, she spoke about how she made $5,000 while being world champion. And I think that she ended up rematching the girl, and then she ended up getting $5K again. Like her pay didn't even go up after doing a rematch. So, female, sports in general always seem to have it harder than male sports. But, I like the fact that Amanda Serrano could sit back and call herself a millionaire now. Took her about 40 fights to do that, though. Close to 40 fights. She didn't start really seeing no real money until then. And that's why a lot of the women, like, they decided to not follow through with the sport of boxing. That Layla Ali tried to convince, Clarissa Shields to not even turn pro because Layla Ali said it wasn't really worth it. Maybe she was hating on Clarissa. Maybe she saw Clarissa's potential and didn't want Clarissa to surpass her. But like another reason could be because there ain't no money in the sport. It's dead in the water. Why even entertain it if it's not going to satisfy you financially? But, a lot of things have changed since then. Women starting to get they just due, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm even seeing it in the WNBA and shit. I'm seeing these WNBA players, they finally getting like, because they was flying commercial. They was flying commercial for years. Now they just starting to get like private jets and shit like that. So, they doing some great things. Shout out to the women out there that's pushing for equality, I guess. You feel me? It's a beautiful thing. But let's get into these topics, man, because I wanted to speak about this real quick. Let's just address Teofimo Lopez, bum ass. You feel what I mean? Just to get that out of the way, because I'm sick of talking about him at this point. But I just felt the need to address this because this is gonna be me laughing at these fucking sellouts, these coons. You know what I mean? That have been, that'll act like they for the people, and act like the moment they see a color or a race that has been degrading them, publicly, then they all smiling in their face and trying to shake their hand and get interviews and shit like that. Teofimo Lopez has something to say to you motherfuckers. You feel me? So let me see if I can actually pull this up. Okay, this is it right here. Teofimo Lopez comes out with a tweet. And he says, culture vultures. I call it like it is. The truth is, I'm the only one who could rain on people's parades. Don't know what the fuck that means. He just be talking, bro. And like culture vultures, like who are you referring to? I don't know who you're talking about. He said, don't, but this is what's important right here, because that first sentence or sentences didn't make any sense. But he says, don't dab me. I think he meant to say dap. Don't dab me. Like, don't shake my hand if you think I am racist. Then our ask interviews. A whole bunch of victimized people who can't stand for something but fall for everything. Hashtag human race. Hashtag one love. Now, those hashtags are absolute bullshit, by the way. This nigga it ain't one love. You clearly show hate towards black people. But regardless, that was probably the realest shit that Teofimo Lopez has said in years. Since his wife decided to start taking black cock, I think that what Teofimo Lopez said in this statement right here was absolutely true. Let's read it again. Don't dab me if you think I'm racist. Then or ask for interviews. A whole bunch of victimized people who can't stand for something but fall for everything. These are Teofimo Lopez's words, y'all. So let's really talk about this. This is what I've been saying this whole time. You feel what I'm saying? I've been one of the people that's been coming out here and saying, yo, like, what's up with these media guys not having no balls? You feel what I'm saying? Like, these motherfuckers ain't got no heart. They so scared to get their credentials revoked and all types of stuff. Like, they really be genuinely scared to ask these fighters the real questions. And I see these black media outlets, like I said, Showbiz, coon, Showbiz the adult, he's a coon, in my opinion. Radio Raccoon. You feel what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of y'all, and I've had my criticism with that guy that calls himself the boxing bully, whatever the fuck his name is. Never heard the dude in my life. He done just popped up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's working for DAZN and Showtime and all these different places. Kudos to him for being able to get in those positions, because those are positions that I would like to get to in due time. As long as the money right and my integrity ain't compromised, I would love to work with those big boxing platforms. However, I see these guys, they keep up with boxing. That's pretty much their job, to keep up with what's going on in the world of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? And they be seeing that these fighters are getting very comfortable with disrespecting black people. We seen Ryan Garcia go on this racist rant. This dude, the boxing bullying them, they sitting down with Ryan Garcia, just, acting so cool with him and refusing any type of confrontation with this man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, y'all really just let this motherfucker go up here and just had his regular ass interview with you, and then y'all let him just go about y'all way. No pressing, no attempts to make this person have any type of accountability, anything like that. Y'all would, I swear to God, like y'all know exactly. Y'all will literally see the elephant in the room and just ignore it. Like, y'all some hoe ass niggas for that. You feel what I'm saying? So, we see Radio Raccoon doing these interviews with these fucking racists, and he could just tell that he's just so happy to be in front of them, just so happy to be in front of your man. They're about to lick the shit out the bottom of these motherfuckers' Timbs. You feel what I'm saying? Just such a fuck. Like, how can y'all call yourselves men? Like, to be honest, like, I'm not even trying to be, extra dramatic or anything like that. Bro, how can y'all call yourselves men when y'all don't stand for anything at all? And before you are anything, you are a black man. This man, these two guys, Teo and Ryan, openly disrespecting black people publicly in front of your face, not behind closed doors where you're not able to prove it, right here on social media where millions of people are watching, and y'all guys are so willing to just ignore it. Just as long as you can get an interview and get another paycheck or some viral video, y'all willing to ignore being disrespected. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I look at y'all niggas as sellouts. And when I was saying that, everybody talk about, oh man, you sensitive, man. You need to get over it. Well, but won't you do something about it? You know, that's all the comments that I've been getting on YouTube as of lately. My channel has been blowing up with all these, you know, subtle racist and shit like that that's defending Teofimo Lopez. At this point, if you're defending Teofimo Lopez, it must be because y'all share the same values. So I'm looking at you now because you decided to defend Teofimo. I'm looking at you exactly how I would look at a Teofimo, because typically if you defend a racist, it's because you're probably a racist yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I mean? So what Teofimo Lopez said right here was absolutely on the money. And it took for him to say that to make these motherfucking black media outlets, you know, change their way of thinking. He's literally telling you, if you think I'm racist and you're black, stay the fuck away from me. Don't ask for no interviews. Y'all motherfuckers don't stand for anything. So he literally is caught while he's saying that he does not like you, that he dislikes black people. He's also telling you that you are a fucking coon because you're not even standing up for what you should be believing in, which is you being a black man first. That's literally what he's telling you. He says, don't dat me if you think I am racist. Then ask for interviews. You going around calling me a racist, but you want to put a microphone to my face and ask me questions. Okay, if y'all look at me in that fucking light, then don't dat me up. Which lets me know that these black media outlets be like, oh, Tio, man, it's nice to see you, man. So he's telling you that he's experiencing these same black people that's calling him racist, requesting interviews, and that he's also saying that y'all don't stand for shit. He literally telling y'all don't stand for shit. He said, who can't stand for something but fall for everything. Jesus Christ. Like, it take a racist to say that for you to actually come to a realization like, damn, I might be moving wrong, or I might not be moving properly. It took a racist to say that you a sellout. A nigga who don't like you told you that you a sellout because you don't stand on principles. It takes that for you to realize, oh, damn, maybe I am cooning. That shit is insane. Shout out to the boy Agent 86. He said, if you black defending T.O., y'all don't love yourself. That's what I'm saying. That's a whole lot of self-hatred going on in this motherfucker, bro. I swear. I'm looking at my comment section. I'm looking at this comment section, bro, because I literally get notifications every time somebody comments on, like, my shorts, you know, that's on YouTube. My if somebody tags me like on a Twitter post, you know what I mean? I'll be getting a little bit of everything. But it be black people that be coming at me because I'm calling T.O. a racist. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man, get over it. He's promoting, it's boxing. You guys always play the victim. Yeah, we was just looking for somebody to call us the N-word with an ER. Yeah, that's exactly what we was looking for. Now we victimizing ourselves. We were sitting here just chilling and T.O. just decided to say that shit on live in front of thousands of people. But we victimizing ourselves. No, we just can't fucking find a way to take our dick out of his mouth. That's what it is. Promoting, yeah, that's exactly what they tell me, that T.O.'s promoting. And that's what T.O. told Crawford. So T.O.'s pussy. He's the type of dude that he pop his shit when he alone. And then when he get pressed, he finds ways to get up out of the situation. He goes around it. You know, he tries to use his words, and he's not well-spoken at all. So I don't know how he be getting away with this. But, like, he finds a way to talk himself out of the situation. I remember he was getting pressed. He was like, man, everybody's racist because you know the one race that they go against, the human race. Like what? What the fuck does that even mean, bro? Greg just said that. Greg and Steve are Fulton. Scooter talking about TO2? What Fulton say? What Stephen Fulton say about it? I ain't hear him say nothing about that. I haven't even heard Greg talk about it. Shout out to the boy Ralph. He said that's such a good promotion tactic calling people the hard ER. Dudes say the dumbest shit. That's what I'm saying. Like they just copy and paste whatever they say. Whatever the racists say, they'll copy and paste it. You ever copy and paste something without really reading it? When you look back and read it, and be like, damn, that shit was spelled wrong. Like, damn, this shit don't even sound right. This is exactly what they do. They copy and paste other people's words without even taking the time to analyze what the fuck was even said. He said he want to talk to Teal. Who? Fulton or Greg? I know Greg probably air Teal the fuck out. Fulton want to talk to Teal. What does he want to talk to Teal about? What is there to speak about? There's nothing to speak about, bro. See, that's the thing, bro. Like, this is what pisses me off. It's like, bro, as people, we be so forgiving and attempting to be understanding and, you know, try to hear people out from and try to put yourself in their shoes. Like, bro, there's some shit that you just don't need to talk to motherfuckers about, bro. If T.O.'s been doing this for a good amount of time now, there's nothing like I don't know if Fulton's looking for context or I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is, but bro, there's nothing that could really be explained to justify what he's talking about. How about just saying fuck him and just going about our day? Because that's exactly what I do. If I'm not on here talking about it, then I don't really think about it, because once my mind is made up that you a piece of shit, or like once my mind is made up that I don't like you, I don't go out of my way to go watch you, bro. You know what I mean? The only reason why I be keeping up with Tio is because people constantly ask me about it. So, you know, as a content creator, I appease the people. But like, I really don't give a fuck about Teofimo Lopez or what he do from now on. I hope he lose every fight. He could fight a 0-20 nigga in his next fight, and I will be rooting for the 0-20. And he could get knocked. He could have been knocked out all 20 times. I'm rooting for him. Like, I honestly feel like Teofimo Lopez should be cut out of big paydays. I hope the WBO strips him of his title, and I hope that he doesn't get any big fights moving forward. Because now he's trying to flex, because he was just talking about he was broke not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? Now he's saying, oh, I got millions in my account. So he feeling himself after that Turkey Al-Sheikh payday. You feel me? Because he was just saying how boxing don't pay enough not too long ago. He fight with Turkey and now he bragging he got M's in his account. I hope you know you got to pay taxes at the end of the year, fuck nigga. I hope you know that. You know, a tax come around, they taking at least half or close to half, so be ready. Hopefully you don't blow it on your wife when she come back around and try to get some money out your pussy ass. You feel me? He said what he said, let him stand on business and the consequences. Well, Islam, he's not known. Notoriously, he's not known for standing on business. He watched his father get knocked out. You feel what I'm saying? He watched his father get knocked out. Terrence Carver pressed him. He said, man, it's just for promotion, bro. It's just for promotion. I would like to spar, though. Then after, you know, Terrence Carver walks away from him, he was like, yeah, you know, but I didn't say the rules of the sparring. I wanted to spar him, you know, with no headgear and, you know, small gloves. Like, shut up. You ain't going to do a motherfucking thing, bro. Stop it. Bud had his arm around T.O., and T.O. just was like frozen. Like he was scared to move type shit. T.O. is a bitch, bro. Hell of a fighter. He fights you in the ring. But he not built like that, cuz. He not built like that. You feel me? He was a nigga that was growing up that his dad was controlling and a cokehead and, was on all types of shit, alcoholic. He grew up in an abusive household, by a controlling father that was living through him. This dude ain't never had no bitches because he was ugly. Every time the nigga smiled, the girls used to be like, ew. Every time he's a smile, ew, look at, ew, what? What's wrong? What's wrong? Why your teeth like that? Like he couldn't get a bitch to save his life. But then once he started getting a little bit of clout, you know what I'm saying? He fell in love with a plane stewardess, which are notoriously known. Like those flight attendants and shit, they're notoriously known for being cold whores. This nigga marries her in his early 20s, thinking he would have found the one. Trying to, oh yeah, you married. Your whole family done told you not to marry this fucking thought. You go ahead and marry the thought anyway. Once you have a kid with your dumb ass, she playing chess with your stupid ass while you out here playing checkers. She weaponizes her sons just like a lot of these bitter ass baby moms do. You feel what I'm saying? And then she exploits you for what you have and divorces you. And she probably gonna leave with a nice chunk of change because your bum ass ain't getting no prenup. You feel me? So it's like, that's the type dude that Teofimo Lopez is. And now she getting some black nigga in her fucking guts now. So now he hates black people. I never understood that because anybody could get played, right? Anybody could get played. Anybody could get cheated on. Any man in this building right now could get cheated on by a woman, right? And let's say like my chick was to cheat on me with a fucking Indian man. I ain't about to be going on my way making derogatory remarks against Indian men. Because Indian men ain't got nothing to do with this. First of all, it's your wife's fault. So whatever the fuck she is, you know what I'm saying? You need to blame her. You know what I mean? Because she could have kept her pussy to herself, but she chose not to. But your whole ass, you listen, man. You worry about the wrong shit. Hurt people. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I've been the villain in those situations where I've hurt people, and I've been the victim in that situation where I've hurt people. So I understand both sides of that statement right there. That's a true fact. That's a fact. But yeah, T.O.'s a goofy, bro. Like he's I would never think to disrespect somebody's whole race because I have a problem with one specific person. Oh, this person's Indian. Oh, fuck Indian people. Why would I ever say that? It's not a general. Like, why would I disrespect a whole race of people because I'm bitter that a person of a certain ethnic group did something to me? Like, stupid. But we shouldn't expect nothing knowledgeable or sensible to come out of Teofimo Lopez. He's a crack baby. So let's transition on to the next subject, man. This is something that I actually wanted to talk about because I wanted to know exactly what y'all insight was, because in this position right here, I can see both sides of the coin, which is the Eddie Hearn and Brian Norman situation. Now, let me pull up this video right here. Shit, I think I actually had it and I lost it. Let me see if I can find it right here. So I believe that Eddie Hearn had did an interview with Brian Norman. Chris Mannix had actually did an interview with Eddie Hearn, just speaking about, certain things. I guess he was, you know what? As a matter of fact, let me just play the video. This will explain it all itself. Mannix actually did an interview with. Oh shit! Hold up, that's my live. Hold up.
It sure looks like Norman is going to go over to Japan to fight Jin Sasaki. I don't know if that's official yet, but it's obviously trending in that direction. Some of the talk I've heard out of Norman's camp is, well, Boots isn't available this summer. He's got mandatories. A unification fight wouldn't be on the table right away. We're going to go to Japan, make some money, fight Jin Sasaki. You're smiling. Like what is real with all this?
He's absolutely available now. We've made them an offer last week. And we've even said to them, if you are taking that fight in Japan, let's lock the fight in for after that. October, November, December, whenever. and they come back and say, we don't want to talk about any other fights until we have this fight. So, I don't know. I mean, we can't rely on Brian Norman to chase any kind of greatness because the purse is outrageous in terms of what he's made. And, you know, it's a massive purse that we've offered him. So, I don't know is the answer. I mean, eeny, meeny, miny.
Okay, so that was Eddie Hearn's words over there with that interview with Chris Mannix and stuff like that, man. So I don't know what's true, but I heard a rumor suggesting that Eddie Hearn had offered Brian Norman $2 million. Brian Norman on Mill City Boxing said that no money was ever offered to them or anything like that. And, you know, they pretty much cut off the offer right then and there because they said that they're not going to negotiate with anybody until this fight with Jin Sasaki is over with. So as of right now, there's pretty much, you know, a clock ticking. You know, they just waiting to see exactly what happens between Jin Sasaki and Brian Norman. And Brian Norman Sr. has said that after their fight with Jin Sasaki, assuming that they come out victorious, then they'll come to the table and negotiate with Jaron Ennis and his team, a.k.a. Eddie Hearn. Now, I want to know exactly what's on y'all guys' mind. But before we do that, man, shout out to the boy Breon Bren with the $20 super chat. He said, it's crazy. I haven't seen Teo fight any black opponents at all. Shout out to the boy Breon Bren. That's actually a great point. You feel what I'm saying? I think like the closest thing you could even mention to a black fighter was Jermaine Ortiz. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, and you know, I guess you want to consider Richard Comey, but Richard Comey isn't a black American fighter. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, of course, he's not from America, from what I understand. I believe he's I forgot exactly where he's from, but I know he's not from here. Like he came, he's like he trains in like Brooklyn and shit like that with Andre Rozier, as far as I remember. But Mastermind 96, what up? But he doesn't have that black American style in terms of, you know, using the athleticism and their hand speed, their foot speed, and, you know, lateral movement, boxing IQ, hitting and not getting hit. It is very true. Teofimo Lopez has not really went up against that style yet because historically Teofimo Lopez has always been like the faster, quicker, athletic, you know, fighter. He has yet to get in there with a Richardson Hitchens, a Gary Antoine Russell, a Devin Haney, a Shakur Stevenson, a Javante Davis. You feel what I'm saying? He hasn't been in the ring with any one of those styles, so we'll never know how, you know, he'll be able to deal with that. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to the boy Breon Brent for the love, though, man. I appreciate that super chat for sure, for sure. Mastermind, what up? Marissa, what's going on? Cal Bundy. That Duck is on my mind when it comes to the Normans. They hop right into that Japan fight before he even beat Cuevas. Yeah, listen, Cal, I know exactly what you're talking about, man, because it was almost how the way they set that shit up, it was almost as if that shit was premeditated. Like, you know, that whole Jin Sasaki being at the fight and Jin Sasaki pulling up on Brian Norman with a letter, you know what I mean, trying to talk in English, and how willing Brian Norman was off of the rip to, you know, be a part of that fight and stuff like that. It was almost as if like it was just set up to be that way. Teacher Selvin, what up? You know, because fights don't really come together that fast. So it just lets me know that they locked in that Jin Sasaki fight, you know, while they was doing the, you know, the Derek Cuevas fight. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it looked like some played out shit to me, in my personal opinion. You feel what I'm saying? But look, man, now in terms of, you know, what Eddie Hearn is doing right now, attempting to lock in that fight with Brian Norman, I think he's just doing his job as a promoter. You feel what I'm saying? I think he's doing his job as a promoter. You know, there's certain things that, you know, he's talked over with Boots, and he, you know, he's trying to satisfy somebody that he works for ultimately. So Jaron Ennis has been saying, I want unification. I want unification. I want unification. For as long as anybody could hear him, he's been calling for that ever since he's become world champion. So Eddie Hearn is trying to do what's necessary in order to, you know, accomplish that goal, or at least put his fighter in position to do so, right? So, you know, he's reaching out to Brian Norman and them, top ranking them, and he's trying to get this fight done. But Brian Norman and them is saying, yo, we're not going to negotiate any type of fight until this fight with Jin Sasaki is over. We're going to go over here. We're going to get this money. We're going to beat Jin Sasaki, assuming, you know, this is I'm sure this is what they're saying. We're gonna take care of Jin Sasaki, make some money out in Japan. You know what I'm saying, and then come back with the bag. Come back with a nice little bag, and then we're gonna explore unification afterwards. You feel what I'm saying? Now, Eddie Hearn might be actually trying to rush this whole process because he knows that WBA mandatory with Giasov is coming up. There may also be a situation where like Eddie Hearn has already spoken with Giasov and shit like that, and they got some type of step aside situation going on. That could be a possibility, but maybe, just maybe, before the WBA really puts the hammer down on this mandatory with Giasov, he's probably trying to lock in the fight with Brian Norman so he can get more time to get that Giasov mandatory out of the way, or at least temporarily, put it on hold for now. You feel what I'm saying? It could be a little bit of that. But I also understand Brian Norman's side. You know what I'm saying? Although they have historically ducked Jaron Ennis and never showed any type of enthusiasm or wanting to fight, in my opinion, it's just been a lot of words on the internet, man. Ain't no actions really been taken, outside of the internet to try to make the fight happen. It just seemed like whatever Eddie Hearn and Boots and them was offering, they was just shooting down. You feel what I'm saying? They had a problem with the location. They had a problem with the money. They had a problem with a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? They didn't want to fight at the Wells Fargo in Philly, but they're about to fight in Japan against a contender, not a champion, a contender. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. A lot of shit don't be really making sense with them. Yeah. I see Norman say this as well. He said, we was willing and ready, but wasn't waiting. Like, what type of shit is that? What type of shit is that? We're willing and ready, but wasn't waiting. Bro, y'all niggas, he wasn't lying. He made that fight right after the Cuevas fight. They was not playing. You know what I mean? It was like, man, before this motherfucker get the energy to come back off of this vacation to offer us a fight, let's go ahead and lock in this Jin Sasaki fight so we can say we got a fight already. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they did. They go ahead, they before they could get, offer for that unification fight with Boots, they went ahead, locked in that fight with Jin Sasaki. So when Boots come back around, we already got a fight. We'll fight you to do it. We'll fight you after this one, though. And probably by then, Boots is going to be mandated to fight Giasov or whatever the case is. And Boots is going to have to make a move, before Brian Norman, takes care of Jin Sasaki. I would not be surprised within the next few days or, the next week or two, the WBA like, yo, you got to fulfill your mandatory. What we doing? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that. They wait till Boots on vacation. Yeah, Boots. Yeah, they was like, oh, Boots resting right now. Oh, he resting right now. When he come back, oh, we ain't gonna wait. It's like, God damn, y'all motherfuckers really don't want to fight. Mazuma, you need to get sugar-free Mars on the panel, bro. She's the truth. I like the way she carries it. I have no idea who she is, but if she is the truth, then salute to her. And I'm open to any type of collaborations with anybody as long as they know what they're talking about and, they fair and objective. You know what I mean? Should be no issue. But what was I about to say? I could also see the Brian Norman's points of view, though, because but only under the condition that they're actually pursuing the unification fight next. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Let's say Eddie Hearn did offer them $2 million, right? Let's just say that. And they do big numbers out in Japan with Jin Sasaki in them. And let's say they come out victorious against Jin Sasaki, which I believe is going to happen, but let's just assume that he does. That win and the numbers they do with Jin Sasaki out in Japan might give them more leeway to ask for more money moving forward. Because they're probably thinking, in all honesty, look, man, they offering us $2 million right now. If we beat Jin Sasaki in Japan, you know what I mean, and run these numbers up over there, we could bring that to the negotiation table and possibly ask for more. So that's probably why they're not willing to lock in a fight right now, because locking in a fight usually has to do with agreeing to a certain amount of money. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main things that gets ironed out before, locking in a fight. How much am I getting paid? How much is in the pot? You feel what I mean? $2 million, yeah, that's more than the 1.7 they had asked for us previously. That's $300,000 more, and that's probably, I think that was the money they was asking for, before they walked away. and chose to fight Derek Cuevas. But as y'all know in boxing, especially at a world title level, the more fights you win, the more your stock goes up, the more money you can ask for. Unless you locked into a contract that has a minimum, you know what I'm saying? The more title defenses you get and the more steam you start to pick up as a champion, the more money you could really ask for, in all honesty. So I think that's what Brian Norman and them, I think that's what their main objective is. You know, they trying to get as much money as they possibly could squeeze out of this fight with Jaron Ennis. So before they do that, they probably try and get a couple title defenses, get some knockouts under their belt, get some, you know, highlight real finishes under their belt, so they can have more popularity. They can get more. There could be more of a demand for a fight, so they can ask for some more money. Jen doesn't raise his profile. Jen ain't nobody. He isn't a name like Inoue. I never said that. I would never compare him to no Inoue. You feel what I'm saying? Inoue, from what I understand, is a different type of beast. I'm just trying to think of, and I'm not saying I agree with Brian Norman's ways and how the way they moving, because I was one of the main ones that was criticizing Brian Norman for walking away from the Jaron Ennis situation. Y'all can go look back at them videos a long time ago. All you gotta do is type Mazuma TV, Brian Norman, and I've been heavily critical of them. However, I'm just trying to exactly understand what type of mindset they're having in this situation. They are, and I think it's all about money with them. I think they're trying to cash out. If they're gonna sacrifice, if Brian Norman Sr. is gonna sacrifice his son for a bag, it's gonna have to be for a bag that they probably won't ever see for the rest of their boxing career, or at least anywhere else in the division. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, they like, all right, they offering us $2 million. So if we go over to Japan, get some good numbers over there, and knock them out, or whatever the case is, and we get a little bit more clout off of the situation, we could probably ask for more. So that $2 million might turn into 2.5. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm believing in them or I'm understanding of their perspective. No, I think they should have, took the opportunity when they had it the first time. I'm just trying to give y'all an insight of what the Normans may be thinking. You feel me? So I want to know exactly what y'all want to think, because we hear what Terrence Smith says. He said, Mazuma, stop it, bro. You know them dudes full of shit. They're going to push Boots out of the division and play like they want him. Then they say Boots ducked them when he moves up. That's definitely something that I see happening. If the unification fight doesn't happen at all and Boots happens to move up, Brian Norman going to be like, man, I told y'all Boots don't want to fight. Whole time Boots been chasing these motherfuckers around trying to get them to agree to a fight date. They keep trying to find ways up out of it. They playing real sneaky, because the last thing what they want to do is look pussy. You feel what I'm saying? Because that could affect their reputation and how they perceived by fans. And you could tell that Brian Norman Sr. is very prideful, and you could tell that he cares about his reputation. So he's trying to go around Boots without making it look like he's going around Boots. So what he's doing right now is saying he locked in that fight with Jin Sasaki right away, when he knew that that Boots was chilling, that he was on vacation, he was taking some time off, before he got back into, because training camp is stressful, you feel what I'm saying? So he definitely needs some time away from the sport to really, recharge, recuperate. So while Boots was in the process of doing that, he said, let me go lock in this fight real quick, man. We just finished this fight with Derek Cuevas. Let's get this shit. You know what I mean? So when Boots come back, we can just say we got to fight. You feel me? That's what I personally believe happened. He said, Norman, a mouse in the house hiding from the house cat. And I'm assuming that house cat is Boots. Shout out to the boy Terrence Smith. He said, Mazuma, no, bro, I'm not saying you are saying he's an Inoue, but you see it like all the level-headed motherfuckers see it. Salute. Cal Bundy said, Brian Norman can punch hands made of stone, but body and chin made of glass. They not fighting that demon. Listen, I done heard about those sparring sessions that Boots and Brian Norman had, and all I ever heard was Boots punched on Brian Norman. That's all I ever heard. On some real shit, that's what I pretty much heard about anybody that sparred Boots. I heard about the Sean Porter shit. I heard about him toying around with Shakur Stevenson, which is understandable because Shakur is a lot smaller than Boots. But I've heard him knocking cruiserweights out cold, like established cruiserweights, not just like no bum, regular bum cruiserweight. I'm talking about like established contender cruiserweights that people know of. I've seen him knock out super middleweights to the body. I've seen on video. I wish I still had that video because there was a girl I was dealing with at the time that her brother used to train with Boots and them. This was years ago though, and showed me the video because she would record the sparring sessions. And I'm saying too much. Nah, fuck it. It is what it is. She would record the sessions for them. You know what I'm saying? And she actually had shown me a few of them. I'm like, damn. Folding niggas up, like, drawn. But, yeah, bro. Niggas who was actually in the building when they were sparring and shit like that. Now, this is sparring. You know, a lot of things may have changed, you know. But, you know. You could, at the same time, like, sparring is just sparring. But at the same time, you could get a good indication of how a fight could go just based off of the styles that they present in the ring during the sparring session. A lot of people don't really take that into account. Like, sparring is a different setting, but you can still tell a lot from the sparring session overall. You can see what the fighter's weaknesses are, what they're comfortable at, what they're not comfortable at, what they gravitate towards in the ring, you know, what's their plan, you know, how they initially come out in comparison to, what they'll switch their style into. Are they one-dimensional? You can tell a lot of things in a sparring session, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, and some fighters don't get better. Coffee plant, that's a great point. There's some people that, you know, you could spar them 5 years ago. You could spar somebody in 2020 and they got this bad habit where, you know, they drop their right hand when they jab. And then you fight them niggas 5 years later, and now they still dropping their right hand while they jab. You know, there's some mistakes that are either very hard to correct or they never work on to correct in the first place. So sparring is a different setting. Different scenarios can happen between sparring and an actual fight. Yes. But like I said, you could get a good indication of who's better than the other during a sparring session. You feel me? Just my personal opinion. Because I've seen sparring sessions between two guys and then they actually fight each other and the fight looked exactly like the sparring session. You know what I mean? Shout out to the boy Ralph. Hold on, let me. No, I actually skipped a few. Age 86. Shout out to him. Who's that? Who's that in your profile pic? Agent. That's Who's that? Abdullah. I can't tell. Let me know who that is. He said, "Don't worry, Norman Senior better keep the same energy, saying they will take the fight once he gets past Jin Sasaki." Well, what I think is personally going to happen is Boots is going to fall victim to one of the mandatories by the time that fight is up with Jin Sasaki. That's what I think. And they're going to be like, oh, well, he got a mandatory, so we can't fight him. I think that's how that shit is going to play out. Hopefully I'm wrong. Mason knocking Jaime down. Oh, all right. Oh, all right. Yeah, I figured that was Abdullah Mason. But Terrence Smith says, sparring is sparring, but in a real fight, Boots will outclass him more convincingly in a real fight. That's saying a lot because I heard Boots absolutely stepped on Brian Norman in that sparring session. That's what I heard. So that'd be speaking a lot. Shout out to the boy Ralph. Ralph says, look at Rolly versus Ryan. The punches Rolly dropped Ryan with were the same punches Rolly caught Ryan with in the sparring. Great point. I just think, in all honesty, bro, I think like trainers and fighters, they hear certain quotes and shit and they just copy and paste it without really thinking about it. oh man, that's just sparring. Oh, that's just sparring. And yeah, that's true. That is just sparring. But like I said, especially if like the spar, because they said Lamar Roach and Tank sparring sessions used to be competitive when they was young and shit like that. And look what transpired. A competitive fight between them and the pros. You know what I'm saying? Now things can get different. Things can be different because fighters can grow and develop and fix past mistakes and just go to a whole nother level. That is true. But like I said, if they sparred about a year ago and they fighting each other now, the sparring that they had might be very similar to the fight in itself. You feel what I'm saying? So, I just think a lot of people just, oh man, but that's sparring. Oh, but that's sparring. You got bigger gloves. You got a headgear on. It's a different setting. Yeah, of course it's a different setting. You know what I mean? But fighters still end up doing the same shit. A lot of motherfuckers don't change. Corey 5 Max said, "What's good, big dog? We're celebrating the Knicks win. What we talking about? We was talking about Teofimo Lopez addressing the black media earlier. Now, we just speaking about the Brian Norman situation because Eddie Hearn came out with an interview with Chris Mannix and said that they offered a massive fight. Another massive fight. You know what I mean? Massive offer. A massive offer. You feel what I'm saying? So there's rumors out here saying that it was $2 million. I'm not sure. I think that's pretty on point in all honesty because they offered 1.7, the last time they came to the table. And then Eddie Hearn said in the post-fight press conference with Boots after the Montes Stanionis fight that, their prices are going up. You feel what I'm saying? So if Boots' price is going up, logically, with Brian Norman having a title defense, with Derek Cuevas and stuff, his price might have went up as well. Coffee Player said, Mark, why Billy Joe said he's fighting Eubank next, whether we like it or not. Bro, what the fuck is Billy Joe Saunders even doing? I thought he retired after Canelo broke his fucking face. He the last time I seen him, he was fat as shit. What he doing? He need to get back on the PED so he can cut that weight. How about that fight with Demetrius Andre? How about that? How about that, Billy Joe? Why don't you go get that fight that you were supposed to fight, with Demetrius Andre, you know what I mean? And you pop positive and you never spun the block. At least with Conor Benn, when he popped positive with Eubank the first time, he came into the rematch clean and took his L like a man. Why don't you just go ahead and fight Demetrius Andre like you were supposed to before you cheated? You worry about the wrong shit. You beat Eubank already. Why you want to fight him again? Sound like some bullying shit to me. But okay, Eubank won it. All right, then fuck it. That's a big fight out in the UK. Fuck it. But it is what it is. Billy Joe Saunders a drug cheat. He was talking shit about Canelo being on clenbuterol, but according to Victor Conti, he said that what Billy Joe Saunders was caught with was like 10 times stronger than clenbuterol. So goddamn, Billy. Goddamn, Billy, if you gonna be talking shit about motherfuckers using PEDs, you shouldn't get caught with a PED that's stronger than the guy you was talking shit about. PED. Goddamn. And Billy Joe need to stop talking like he big shit anyway, because you know what I mean? You went through one controversial time in your career and you quit in front of the people. You're a quitter. You're a quitter. You bellend. Billy Ho Saunders. Yep. Billy Ho and Teofimo Lopez. There's a whole bunch of hoes in the sport of boxing. I hope you beat Billy Joe ass too on some real shit. I can't stand them niggas, bro. I never liked Billy Joe. Even before he got caught with PEDs, I didn't like him. You know what I mean? Y'all remember when Deontay Wilder made that man run out of the restaurant? You remember that shit? Because Billy Joe was talking all this crazy shit about Wilder, and Wilder pulled up on him at like a restaurant, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that was one of the funniest fucking things I think I ever seen in boxing. Deontay Wilder ran down on this nigga. Oh, Smoothie, you don't remember that? Let me see if I can pull that shit up. Robert Jenkins, don't come in here, you know, with that Shakur bullshit, that fanboy shit you be on, cuz. We fuck with Shakur too, but let's, you know what I mean? Let's because every time you come on here, you be on some Joe. Man, Shakur could fucking walk on the water, man. I seen it happen twice, I swear, with my own eyes. It's like, all right, Robert. Chill out, Robert. That fucking guy Shakur, he's amazing, man. I swear he'll beat Boots right now. My God damn. Get this nigga a motherfucking what's that shit called? Get that nigga a motherfucker. What's that shit called that calm them motherfucking kids down that got ADHD? And motherfucker Robert Jenkins be on a roll. Y'all ain't never see when Wilder ran Billy Joe up out that restaurant? I think Saunders hit that nigga with a piece of chicken or something. It was some wild shit. Let me see. Adderall. Yeah, get that nigga an Adderall. Look. Wow, the bitch that nigga up, bro. Bro, them niggas, Billy Joe and them niggas skated, bro. I seen a different angle of this shit. Oh, yeah. There it go. Yo, look at Billy Joe running. This the angle I see. Look at him running. He got the black and white shirt on. Look. Oh. Go. Run, Billy. Yo. That nigga literally ran out of there by himself. Oh, my God. Bro, y'all can find that, yo. It's a video, and it's called Saunders vs. Wilder Beef with Chicken at Nando's. Bro, they was literally chasing after him, though, bro. Wilder was like, yo, what was that shit you was talking about, man? You said this and that. Billy Joe was like, yeah, I said that. So I guess he thought the niggas that was around him was going to stop the confrontation from happening. Little did he know that none of them niggas could hold Wilder back. Oh, my God. That nigga ran up out of there, bro. Oh, man. He dicked it. That's how I knew he pussy. He just be running his mouth. When shit hit the fan, he'll... Listen, that was prime Wilder. I ain't looking for no problems out of that man, bro. Fuck all that. That was prime Wilder, bro. That was like what, like 6 years ago? What were we in? What, like 2019? Yeah. That's when you leave Wilder the fuck alone. Billy Joe had those Looney Tune clouds on his feet before he jetted off. Yeah, 2019, Wilder was a fucking animal. Fuck is that? What is that? Oh, that's that dumbass cat. I should have known. Robert Jenkins, you saying Wilder was never good? Bro, you don't watch boxing, bro. Now you starting to irk me, cuz. You saying a prime Deontay Wilder wasn't good. That nigga had 10 title defenses and stopped the boogeyman of the heavyweight division at the time, and Luis Ortiz. Nobody wanted to fight him. Yeah, Corey, I am sick. Thanks for noticing. Wilder was never good. You're out your fucking mind. He was heavily avoided by Anthony Joshua. You know, there was a point in time where Tyson Fury wasn't even looking his way. Let's keep it real. Joseph Parker was supposed to unify with him because they was both dealing with PBC at the time. You know, never happened. I don't know Joseph Parker. I don't think Joseph Parker was ever with PBC actually, but I know that they were supposed to unify at one point in time, and then Joseph Parker ended up fighting Anthony Joshua instead. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, Robert. You just talking. Now we talking from a skill set standpoint. Yeah, Wilder wasn't the most skilled fighter, but to say he wasn't good, you're fucking crazy. Parker was with top rank. Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense because he fought Andy Ruiz, and at the time, Andy Ruiz was a top ranked fighter. Damn, Joseph Parker got a little resume on him, boy. Joseph Parker beat Andy, Wilder, Bacoli. Shit. Zhang. Joseph Parker got a nice little resume on him. Fought AJ. Fought Joe Joyce. A prime Joe Joyce that was, doing a little bit of damage out here in these streets. Nah. Robert, you be taking L's on this channel, bro. Yo, you seen that Bacoli song? No. Yeah, Wilder started boxing when the only reason why the nigga started boxing was because he was trying to get some money together to help his daughter get through her health problems. She had spina bifida and shit like that. Bro, he walked into a boxing gym and within a small amount of time won a bronze medal in the Olympics. Do you know how difficult that is, bro? Like, I don't know if y'all ever been through like the amateur circuit, bro, but to make it to an Olympic level and get a fucking medal with very little training under your belt, that's a special type of person to do that, bro. And then with just having the right hand, he becomes heavyweight champion of the world and defends his WBC heavyweight title 10 times. Name somebody currently in this era right now that has 10 title defenses in the heavyweight division. How many title defenses Tyson Fury got? How many title defenses Usyk got? Like a current heavyweight right now has 10 title defenses. Name them. So I don't want to hear that Wilder wasn't good. That's a horrible take. He literally tied Muhammad Ali in title defenses, bro. Deontay Wilder is a Hall of Famer, hands down. Ain't no way y'all gonna go around talking about Earl Spencer's a Hall of Famer because Terrence Crawford was out here talking about Earl Spencer ain't a Hall of Famer, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Even Shakur disagreed with him. His own homie disagreed with him. Deontay Wilder, for him to start boxing that late and achieve what he achieved, that shit damn near impossible, bro. And he did it. Wilder is a Hall of Famer, hands down. No debating. Anybody who say otherwise is lying. Who got 10 title defenses in any division right now? That's a great point. My motherfuckers only fighting twice a year anyways. This dude don't know what he talk. Bro, you don't hear nothing we talking about, cuz you literally just told me that. Tell you something. I don't know if you lack comprehension. Or your comprehension skills ass, brother. You said, show me something efficient or elite the guy has done. Bro, you don't even know. That's how I know you never boxed before. Do you know how hard it is to have the knockout ratio that Deontay Wilder has? Do you know how hard it is to successfully defend the title 10 times, bro? Like, and this is somebody, and motherfuckers be boxing since they was 5 years old and don't achieve what Wilder has achieved. What are we talking about? What do you mean? Does he know how to manipulate a guard or peel it? Like, what are you talking about? What you just watch like a Lomachenko study highlight film or some shit, nigga? So what? You gotta be elite to manipulate a guard or peel through. I've seen Deontay Wilder punch through niggas' high guards. What are you talking about? I've seen niggas, and that takes a certain level of accuracy to do that. What are we talking about? I seen him punch through a high guard. You talk about manipulate a high guard. I seen him put a right hand through somebody's high guard and knock them out. Go watch the Bermain-Stavern fight. In the second fight, the first knockdown, Deontay Wilder throws a straight, and he had a beautiful jab, by the way. Boom, boom. Everybody talk about his right hand, but nobody talk about the jab that helped him land the right hand, because I've never seen Deontay Wilder just throw a right hand. I never seen him just throw a lead right hand. I always see the jab set up his right hand. So if we're going to be honest, if you're going to give him credit for only knowing how to throw the right hand, how about the jab that set up the right hand? Sound like a pretty fucking good jab if he always hitting people with right hands. The man was only known for his right hand, and the people that fought Wilder were prepared for his right hand and still get hit by it. Don't you have to have a certain skill? Don't you have to be skilled to still land the right hand on a motherfucker when that's all they prepare for, and they still get hit with it? That was like AI. When AI came down the court, you knew he was going to hit you with that, with his signature crossover, but they still couldn't stop it. That's how I know niggas don't know what they talking about, bro. Niggas gotta peel a guard down to be elite. Like, what is we talking about, bro? Punching through somebody's high guard, bro, is a lot more difficult than peeling somebody's guard down and coming over the top. I know that from experience. For somebody to have a tight high guard, you still able to get that punch in between, that takes a certain level of accuracy to do that. Not anybody's just doing that. But if you never experienced boxing before, I wouldn't expect you to know how difficult that is. That's how good Wilder was. You knew he was going to hit you with a right hand, and you still couldn't do nothing about it. You think Dominic Brazil didn't know that Wilder was going to try to hit him with the right hand? You think Tyson Fury didn't know that Wilder was going to try to hit him with the right hand? They all hit the canvas, bro. You think Luis Ortiz didn't know that? Luis Ortiz did every trick in the book to try to take away Wilder's right hand. Still got hit with it. And I see Wilder, the first knockout with Luis Ortiz, he stopped him with an uppercut. Bro, let's keep it real. Deontay Wilder was a fucking novice in the amateurs and got a medal, got a bronze medal. Yeah, Wilder was square on the ropes when he knocked Kalanius out. So he don't even got to be in position. He don't even got to be in boxing position to knock you out. He can stand directly like this, boop, and put you out. That doesn't mean the specific. So I just told this nigga how Deontay Wilder has enough skill if he's knocking out guys when they all anticipating the same shit. And now he's changing the whole shit up. Now he's talking about the level of competition. Corey 5, a wrench is a moderator. A moderator is the people in the chat who control pretty much who's on the chat. Like if you out there talking crazy, somebody with a wrench can ban you. Like this dude don't know boxing. What does it mean? The specific set of skills were elite. That could just mean the competition he fought weren't that good. All right. So you literally just asked me, how is he skilled? We tell you how he is skilled. And now you talking. Now you saying, "Oh, that don't mean he's skilled." So now it's about his competition. So you went from talking about his skill set. We addressed the skill set. Now you want to talk about the resumes. Okay. Sound good. I just know you ain't no scrub if you got 10 title defenses. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. If you defended your title 10 times, you not a bum. I know that. You're a pretty fucking good fighter because titles come and go. And Wilder lost to the time the best heavyweight in the division until Usyk showed up. Nobody was fucking with Fury until, Usyk showed up and shut all that shit down. It took a motherfucker to move up from cruiserweight to stop what Fury had going on. You feel me? And you could make a case that count in that first fight with Fury was bullshit. Luis Ortiz was literally the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. Then nobody want any smoke with Luis Ortiz. Wilder was the only one to give him an opportunity. Y'all ever peep that to this day, nobody has given Luis Ortiz an opportunity since Deontay Wilder? That nigga still boxing. He in his 40s. They still won't give him a chance. Nobody ever gave Luis Ortiz an opportunity except Wilder. And he didn't have to fight Luis Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz test positive for PEDs, and he still fought him. That ended up being, figured out because it was high blood pressure medication. Luis Ortiz is an old motherfucker, so I do believe he was taking that. But regardless, he tests positive. Wilder could have used that as a way to step away from fucking Luis Ortiz. Still fights him, knocks him out. You said none of these heavyweights beat the 90s heavyweights. Evander Holyfield smokes them all. That was definitely a different era of heavyweights, bro. Yeah, I mean, Evander Holyfield, you put a lot of pressure on these modern heavyweights because Evander Holyfield, that's an all-time great right there. That's the greatest cruiserweight to ever live, in my opinion. That's an all-time great heavyweight. He a top 10 heavyweight, in my opinion. He might crack the top 5. You know what I mean? Like, Evander Holyfield is an all-time great. You put a lot of pressure on these guys, man. But the 90s heavyweights was a different era of heavyweights. Lennox Lewis. My favorite heavyweight of all time is Lennox Lewis. The 80s and 90s was different. I was also talking about his jab as well, Robert Jenkins, because his jab was what set up his right hand to give him all the knockouts that he had. Besides, like the Hellenius fight and like the Artur Szpilka, John, every time he stepped forward with his right hand, the jab came before it. So you can't necessarily say he only has a right hand when his jab is the thing that's setting up his right hand. You can't just say he got a good right hand when his jab is the key to his right hand landing. That must mean that he has a good jab too. So when you really think about it, he has a good one too. So it's safe to say that he has some of the fundamentals in the bag in terms of combination punching. What's the first 2 punches you learn when you walk into a boxing gym? Wilder mastered that. and got a shit ton of knockouts doing so. I think Shannon Briggs, like in today's heavyweights, I think Shannon Briggs would have did real well. He a drug cheat too. A lot of these motherfuckers done got caught with PEDs, bro. I was just reading up on James Toney. Nobody really knows. James Toney failed for PEDs twice in 2 different fights. He tested positive for nandrolone in 1 fight, and then he tested positive for a whole different PED in another fight. The first time he got caught, I think that was against John Ruiz. He got caught with PEDs. He said it was because some medication that his doctor gave him when he injured his bicep and his tricep. But he didn't dispute the suspension and the fine that he got. I think they fined him like 10 racks and they suspended him for, I don't think it was a year. Let's say it was 6 months. I don't remember. But he didn't dispute it because he had the option to fight it and present evidence, but he never did. So I thought that was suspicious. And there was a whole other time where he tested positive for PEDs as well. So I'm like, damn, James Toney was one of my all-time favorite fighters. Now I gotta take him off my list. I appreciate you, Corey. Thank you, man. Salute. George Foreman in the 90s beating Tyson Fury? Absolutely. Ain't nothing to think about, brother. Rest in peace to George Foreman, though, man. I ain't even saying that because he passed away neither. George Foreman was all bad for these dudes, bro. Tyson Fury not staging up what George Foreman got going on. Consequences need to be worse for drug cheats. I agree with you. I wonder why Showbiz ugly ass didn't come up with a rule to punish PED users. I wonder why Showbiz ugly ass didn't make a rule to intensify punishments for PED users. You know what I mean? He came up with a no running rule, but not a PED rule. How I get a wrench though? His thing said pause. You just gotta be consistent, brother. That's all. You know what I mean? They ain't for sale or nothing like that. Just gotta be consistent. As long as you showing love, you in the chat, and you show good character, you'll get a wrench. On some real shit, let's just go ahead and we gonna give Smoochie a wrench. What y'all think? I fuck with Smoochie. What y'all think? I haven't really been seeing G-Bo lately, though. Coffee? Where G-Bo at? Haha. Islam, I seen your cut, nigga. Your shit ass. Your barber really don't like you. Like, your barber really don't fuck with you, bro. Like, I really genuinely think, like, I ain't even gonna say that. That's out of pocket. That's a little disrespectful. I ain't gonna say that. Slime, you not cute. You ugly, nigga. And you don't love yourself because you obese. Obese niggas don't love themselves. Yo, Smoochie had me dying the other day, and I was like, "Oh, what's your type?" What the fuck did I say, Smooch? And Smooch was like, I like my nigga single or some shit like that. That shit had me dying. I don't know why that shit was so funny. But let me go ahead. But G-Bo is a good contestant for the wrench, though, Coffee. I ain't gonna lie. Man, leave Smoochie alone if I get her to time you out, cuz she got a wrench now. But what? This nigga Slime wildin'. That kind of Ben pick is hilarious though. I ain't gonna lie to you. You gotta do a mod clear out. Is there anybody's wrench that need to be taken? I fuck with everybody who got their wrenches right now. Agent 86 got the Shakur icon on his jaw. Mazuma, who you got at cruiserweight? Roy Jones or Usyk? Terrence Smith. When Roy was at cruiserweight, I wasn't, I think he was dwindling out by the time he was at cruiserweight, bro. Because listen, his peak was when he fought John Ruiz, right? Then he went back down to 75 to fight Tarver. He was no longer the same. Got knocked out by Glenn Johnson, all that good shit. I think he actually had got knocked out by Enzo Macronelli at cruiserweight. So, if we talking cruiserweight, then I'm definitely going with Alexander Usyk. What? See, Coffee, if you had social media, you could hit me up on the side and tell me who you talking about. But hold on. Coffee Petty. I can't see who my moderators are from right here. Like all the moderators I got. I would have to go on YouTube Studio to see that shit. Let me see. Let me see. Unity. Boom. Community moderation. Managing moderators is anonymous. Standing moderators, Agent 86, Tito Stacks. That's one of my former fighters. Marky Dan, the historian, Coffee Plant. Josh Medina, which is also one of my former fighters. Jordan Sheriff, Thierry Scott, PYP Boxing, Derek Moore, one of my fighters. Old School 868. What the fuck happened to Old School 868? Hey, man, I might have to take his wrench because he ain't been on here in a minute. Oh, shit. Low Nose Boxing is one of the moderators. Let's get him up out of here. Pack him up. Oscar De La Paz, he ain't been around. Marissa, Ralph, J Cash, Ray, Karma. Karma don't really be around all like that, but there's always love with her. But that's about it. Ralph, J Cash, Stop Motion, Oscar De La Paz, he don't be around all like that, but he got his shit going on. I spoke to him. Smoochie, Chris Maldonado, my boy from high school. Slime, Lorenzo, my pop. Old School 868. I'm gonna take Old School out because he don't be on here like he used to. Derek Moore, PYP, Thierry Scott, Jordan Sheriff, Josh Medina, Coffee Plant, Marky Dan, Tito, and Agent 86, and my boy Anonymous as the managing moderator. Yes, sir. Not getting fired on their days off is crazy. I love the fact that Smoochie just ignores Slime. Like she don't pay that nigga any mind. I think that's hilarious. Who's your favorite mod? Not you, bitch. I hate you. Smoochie doesn't ignore Slime because she knows Slime is square. I think that's hilarious. Terrence Smith said Devin versus Ellis. That's an interesting fight, but I think it's 60-40 Ellis based on what I've seen from him years ago, but I don't know how he would look now. Well, I've been seeing that if you're referring to Rashidi Ellis has been training. He's been staying like active in this team combat league setup that they got in boxing right now, where it's like teams. So they're like Philadelphia versus New York versus Texas versus Atlanta. And it's like they all do one round apiece. And like they'll have like 10 fighters against 10 fighters. And like the judges will score it, and then they'll tally up all the teammates' wins, together, and they'll determine who wins. Like they'll like count up all the numbers together, and then they'll decide the winner based off of that. Because the first day I was in here, he was disrespectful. Oh, see, Slime don't know how to talk to bitches. He think everything again. Well, women, god damn it, sorry. You don't know how. Smoochie, don't get mad. You know what I meant. I meant women. My girl be looking at me crazy, and I'll be saying that too. My grandpa be flirting with my girl and shit, right? So I said, you better stop talking to my bitch or I'll beat your ass. I look over at my girl, I was like, oh shit, I just called her a bitch, I'm drunk. Ellis and Rohan Polanco said they will fight each other. That's a good ass fight. Rashidi could box and he got good head speed. You feel what I'm saying? Athletic and shit like that. He might give Polanco some problems because Polanco, he's strong, he aggressive, he a mean motherfucker, bro. Like he a bully. You feel what I'm saying? But Rashidi quick, bro. Like he could box, so I don't think he really gonna play into that type of style. I think, but then again, we seen how the way Romain Villa caught up to Rashidi at the end. So he was boxing really well. Then at the end, he started to fall victim to that pressure. So that'll be a good job, bro. That'll be a good fight. I think that Rohan needs a little bit more seasoning. I think he needs to tune up his defense a little bit. There's some holes in Rohan's game, but he young. You know what I'm saying? He young and he young to come up right now. So he has a lot of time for improvement. But I like that fight. Speedy and Rohan is a good fight. But most likely, the money ain't going to be right. So I highly doubt Rashidi will take that fight. Bro, who the fuck is this nigga just butchered Conceição's name. Conceição? Conceição? Kensusao? This nigga Slime need to go back to school. Slime said, I got him saying John. That's how you know I'm his pop for real. You heard? That's how you know I'm really Slime pop. I gotta go over to Puerto Rico and drop off some child support. You heard? Navarrete need to run it back with Suarez after that. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to run it back, bro. But Navarrete fighting Suarez, I think that shit going to play it more into Suarez's hands this time because Navarrete's weight issues, bro. It's my sink because the cats be drinking off the sink and shit. They be treating it like they will not drink water unless I turn my sink on. Do I think Cool Boy has a chance against Foster? Yes, I do. I think he can actually beat Foster. That's just my opinion, though. I never really been big on Foster. Did I see Shakur and Foster arguing on social media? This nigga, and I had even asked Shakur, I'm like, yo, you, because Foster and Shakur have been going back and forth for a while now around with Raymond Ford also being involved in the situation. You know, Foster's calling out Shakur, but Shakur like, nigga, you not even in my weight class. Why don't you fight Raymond Ford, who's in your weight class? You know what I mean? A former champion at 126. Raymond Ford was, you know what I'm saying? So he looking for some smoke. But, you know, Shockey, it seemed like he want the big fish. He want, in this situation, Shakur would be the big fish because, you know, he's been around more than he's done more than Raymond Ford. He's been around longer than Raymond Ford at a high level. You feel me? So, well, Shockey want to smoke with Shakur, but Shakur like, nigga, you like, fuck out of here. Why don't you fight Raymond Ford win your weight class? So they've been going back and forth. And, you know, Shakur kept mentioning how O'Shaquie was like a pothead and shit like that. And O'Shaquie said something about Shakur fucking with like nitrous oxide, like inhaling shit. I'm like, what? Man, where the fuck that shit came from? And I even asked Shakur, but Shakur responded to me. He was like, bro, I don't know what he talking about. Like, he just talking shit because he a known pothead. And I'm like, well, that's something that's kind of crazy. Like, it didn't even sound right. That like that's something crazy to accuse somebody of. Like, you don't really hear nobody get accused of fucking with nitrous oxide. Yeah, whippets. Yeah, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. That's what O'Shaquie said that Shakur was fucking with whippets. And I'm like, what? Shakur fucking with whippets? And O'Shaquie was like, oh, he a down to try anything ass nigga. I'm like, oh, word? So, like, this ain't got nothing to do with boxing. I think they was getting a little bit too personal in all honesty, especially since they ain't got no fight lined up. It's like, what y'all arguing for? Like, if y'all not fighting anytime soon, like, why are we doing all this extra shit? Now, this would have been great. This would have been great promo if a fight was actually set in stone. But, like, these niggas just talking, they ain't gonna rumble. It's like, bro, both y'all niggas need to, like, cool out. For real, for real. I'm just wondering. I'm like, huh? My favorite Philly rapper be doing whippets. I don't know nothing about that, brother. I didn't even know that was something. But that's just me. Like, listen, I've never even been drunk. You know what I'm saying? I smoke weed. I probably smoked weed 4 times max in my whole life. Though they were all lit. It was fun. But like, bro, I ain't smoked weed in years. Had to be. I should be smoking weed more to help with my chronic illness because weed does help a lot with, you know, with the disease that I do have. But like on some recreational shit, bro, I don't never do none of that. Never been drunk. You feel? I don't even play that type shit. You feel what I'm saying? I don't party. I don't go out. I don't do anything. I stay in my crib. You feel me? So like, yeah, like I've heard of like Galaxy gas, so I guess that's whippets. Okay, so they say Shakur fuck with that Galaxy gas. That's weird, bro. Teofimo admitted that he used to pop pills. He said he don't pop pills no more. I'm like, oh nigga, wait a minute. Like y'all niggas pop pills out here? Because y'all know like pills is like that the new heroin. Like that's these niggas be popping pills and be making fun of niggas who smoke out of crack pipes. Nigga, you are not that far. You not that far off. Have I looked at the holistic medicine for my medication? That's what I'm currently on right now, my brother. That's what's gotten me in the remission. I appreciate you asking me that, though, because a lot of people don't know about that. I have not been on medicine for years that the hospitals had prescribed me. They only made me worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all look at my skin and you see all the scars that I got, you see this shit right here. You see all this? Remember niggas said I had bed bugs and shit? That shit was kind of funny. But no, all jokes aside, though, y'all see all this shit that I got right here? This shit was symptoms of bad medications that had bad side effects on me. You feel me? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, hospitals need to keep you sick as a business. I'd have heard that before, but it's different when you actually experience it. But yeah, like all these scars that I got on me, I got them on my back, my fucking like everywhere, bro. That was a bad side effect of some medications that doctors had prescribed me. So I took my health into my own hands. Um, and I've been in remission for a good amount of time now. Who said I got it all sparring? What are you talking about? Chris, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Salam said, I used to take Addies for my ADHD, would just start cleaning shit for no reason. That's crazy because I would think that you would clean your ass, but you know what I mean? You still be dirty out here. That shit is wild. How you get it all spawned? I never said I got it all spawned, brother. I don't know if you're from. Nah, this was from, you know, so this what happened, right? I got an autoimmune disease, right? So autoimmune disease means that my body's attacking itself. Like my immune system is attacking my tissues, like my body is going against it. It's recognizing my body as the enemy and it's attacking it, right? So as a result, when you have autoimmune diseases, you start to struggle with like skin problems and stuff like that. That's why sometimes you would see me and I have like a little breakout going on or whatever, but then the next day it'll be gone. You feel me? Because I have like the skin stuff to like take care of it and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So like this shit right here had happened because I was taking this medicine. I'm not gonna say the name of the medicine and shit. You never know who watching, but I was taking this medicine that completely broke my body out into bumps and all types of shit, bro. And it scarred me up pretty bad. You feel what I mean? I was embarrassed about it for a while. I used to tell people I got in an accident and shit like that, so people wouldn't really ask me. But you know what I mean? It was like, bro, I'm really lying. Like I'm lying to these people. Like, what the fuck I got to lie for? Because I was insecure about it for a good amount. I was insecure about it for years, for real. But it's all good because you know what I'm gonna do? We just gonna tap this shit up. You heard? But yeah. Oh, you had IBS? Well, I got something called ulcerative colitis. It's not IBS, but it's IBD. It's an irritable bowel disorder. So IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. My stepfather had that as well. But it's great that you recovered, bro, because a lot of people don't. You feel me? That's a whole different side of me, yo. And I've helped with the medicine that I take now. I've been able to help some people that have suffered with IBS as well and all types of stuff, bro. Leaky gut and all that shit, yeah. Yeah, bro. I actually gotta take my medicine before I go to sleep. So I take it in the morning and I take them at night. And bro, I feel like I don't even have colitis no more. It's a beautiful thing. You feel what I'm saying? I can live a normal life. Yeah, irritable bowel syndrome. I know all about that shit, bro. Because before I had gotten diagnosed, I was seeing like all the symptoms and stuff like that, and I was trying to figure out what it was. So at first I thought I had IBS, but after I had did like the procedure to check my stomach and stuff like that, they was like, "Oh, this what you got." You know what I'm saying? So I had done my research about all of that shit. I got something on my tank top. What I got? I ain't got shit, nigga. What you talking about? Motherfucker. Trying to be funny? You big bitch. All praises to the Most High, absolutely. And that was a battle, bro. That was the worst part of my life thus far. Um, that shit made me question living. That made me question God. It made me question a lot of things. That was the hardest mental battle that I ever went through. And it don't ever go away. You see how Lorenzo was just talking about PTSD and shit like that? I've definitely went through my own type of PTSD with my health issues. And I think that's a big reason why I don't really like to go outside, because there was a point in time where I couldn't really go outside. I was stuck in the bathroom so much. Like, not even trying to be funny, bro. I went to the bathroom at least 20 times a day. Not even playing with you. Like, it was nonstop. I couldn't live. To the point where they was gonna give me a shit bag, bro. Like, they had me. I'm gonna tell y'all something. So they had given me every medication that they recommended, and none of it was working. And they said that I had a real stubborn disease, right? And there was nothing they could do to fix it. So they was gonna refer me to my mom had an autoimmune disease. I pray to God I don't get that shit. Just stay healthy, my brother. Like, with the resources we have now, we don't necessarily need to go through these doctors to fix what we got going on. But anyways, let me tell this story before I get up out of here. So this is when I knew I had to take shit into my own hands, and how I was just falling victim to, probably the most corrupt thing in this country, which is the pharmaceutical business, the hospital business, the healthcare industry in general. So they gave me every medication that they could think of. They couldn't find nothing that could put me in remission, right? So they referred me to a surgeon that was going to tell me how they would do my surgery if I was willing to accept it. And I was so drained from a mental aspect that I was like, you know what? Maybe having this shit bag, it's called a colostomy bag or something like that. I was like, maybe having this bag would fix all my problems. Like, maybe this, like, all the pain and fucking stress that I've been going through, bro, maybe, just doing this surgery and just getting this shit up out of the way, literally getting this shit up out of the way would make my life better, bro. Because I hated my life, bro. I went from being a fucking boxer and finally doing what I wanted to do with life to just becoming disabled, bro. You just wake up one day and your body not the same, bro. Can you imagine that? No warning signs at all. You just wake up with symptoms and you just like, what the fuck going on? And next thing you know, you can't box no more because you went from being able to spar 6, 7, 8 rounds to huffing and puffing after a minute of throwing punches. Like, what the fuck is going on? So this is when I knew I had to do something. So my mom wanted to go to the appointment with me. She was my biggest supporter. You know what I mean? She was with me for all the appointments. When I had to do these surgeries and I couldn't drive back home, she'd be the one to take me home and stuff like that. So the doctor literally came in with like a diagram on how the way they would. So they pretty much like, here's are the things that's connected to your colon. We're gonna cut the colon out, and then we're gonna put the tubes together. And when he was going through it, my mom just started crying. Now, I only see my mom cry like 2-3 out of the 27 years that I've been living. I only see my mom cry like 3 times, and that was one of them, right? So it was a very rare occasion. My mom, one of the strongest people I know, point blank. So when I see her crying, I knew that this wasn't like no small thing. So I'm like, I said, Mom, what you crying for, Mom? And she was crying so much that she couldn't take the time to explain to me why she was crying and how cold the doctor was. Like, he didn't give a fuck, bro. That shit really, like, and you could tell, like, how the way that he was talking, how the way he was acting, he done went through this scenario many times. Many times. So I'm like, oh, this nigga cold. Like, he desensitized. So he just do this all the time, right? Like, he showed no type of sympathy, nothing. And I'm like, yo, Ma, what you crying for? She could not tell me why she was crying. I knew why she was crying, but I wanted her to, like, you know, de-escalate a little bit. So she kept crying. She kept crying. She kept crying. And she was like, Marcus, you really gonna do this? Like, Marcus, you really gonna do this? You sure you want to do this? Because my mind was already made up. Like, yo, I'm doing it. Like, my life is hell. I can't live how the fuck I want to live. You know what I'm saying? And your mental health is just down the drain. You feel me? And this was like 6 years ago. So I was like 21. When I'm supposed to be having the most fun of my life, and the whole time I'm just stuck in the house because I can't do anything. So I knew from there, I was like, yo, this gotta be a way. Like, there's no way I'm gonna put my mom. So my mom crying that day, my mom, because I didn't even want her to go to the appointment. My mom going to that appointment and crying that day, that's what made me feel like I had to do something about this. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I can't never be the reason why my mom cried again. You feel me? So I did my research. I experimented with a few different, herbal supplements and stuff like that. And then I came across this one page that, I spoke to some professors at a university that dealt with like Chinese medicine and shit like that. And we got the conversing back and forth. Came across this company. I took an assessment. They put me on they had me part of like this trial. And within 2 weeks of taking the medication, all my symptoms went away. And I've been dealing with that since then. And I've been doing that since then. So, that's my mom saved me. Like, on some real shit. I'm not even joking with y'all. Because they said even with getting that colostomy bag, that I would have still had to deal with the same symptoms. I would have been going to the bathroom just as often. It was like, so what's the point of even doing this? You feel me? So I thank my mom a lot, not only for supporting me and being there when I went through everything that I went through, but actually being there at that moment where I was about to make a impulsive decision that could have ultimately fucked my life up more than what it already was at the time. So her being there and seeing her cry like that, that made me walk out of there. And I was like, I'll reach back out to y'all. So fast forward, I get a call from that doctor. He was like, oh, man. And this is when I first found out my son was on the way. This was like a couple days after I found out my son was on the way, right? So he like, yeah, man, you haven't been in the hospital in a while. How's everything? I'm looking through your stuff right now, and it says you're not currently on any medication. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. He was like, well, check this out, man. Doctors don't talk like that, but I'm paraphrasing. He's like, yo, check this out, man. I have this new medication. It just came about. It's had some great reviews from people in your age group, man. I really think you should try this. This is like a new groundbreaking treatment, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds interesting. What's the name of it? He gave me this crazy ass name. There probably 40 letters in that motherfucker. I'm like, all right. So what's the side effects? Like when they did like the test, they, so once he got this, I'm like, it's gonna be some bullshit, right? Because the side effects always some crazy shit like psychosis and sudden death and fucking all types of weird shit. Stroke, heart attack, erectile dysfunction, like all this wild shit. But he was like, yeah, man, what they noticed with people in your age group that took the medicine, they developed skin cancer. And I'm like, doctor, I have a son on the way, man. He's like, oh, congratulations. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to take something that could possibly give me cancer when I'm about to have a baby boy. He's like, oh, well, it wasn't everybody, it was only a small percentage. And I'm like, yeah, but nonetheless, it's still a percentage. And I don't think I want to take the chance of getting a remission for a chronic illness to then run into cancer. And I just remember him being so quiet on the phone, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna just give you some time to think about it, man. Please stay safe out there. It's pretty dangerous to have ulcerative colitis and not be, any type of medication. I'm like, I'll be okay. I'll give you a call if anything. He was like, all right, I'll talk to you. I haven't spoke to him since then. And that was like 2022. So there's that. So that's a little bit of my story, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't really get to talking about my health all like that. I would like to think that my worst days are behind me. But the past is still something to talk about because that's where you learn the most from, your past, whether it's with, health obstacles, relationships, whatever the case is. Oh, G-Bo, there you go. I was waiting for you, brother. They told me to give you a wrench, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hold on. Where G-Bo at? Where G-Bo at? Let me go ahead. Boom. Ray Davis, what up, brother? He said, peace, Mark at work, listening, always tuning in. Champ, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. G-Bo says, Mark, salute Mark for being transparent and sharing his life with the community. You're helping somebody is not in vain. Absolutely, brother. Thank you very much. K7 said, that's a powerful testimony, bro. Look, man, there was so much more that I went through that child, don't even really peak for real, bro. Like I don't, and it is painful too because I done been in relationships with I done had previous relationships where I was made fun of for my chronic illness. You feel me? So in the moment you think that person loves you and they got your best interest and stuff like that. And I wasn't no saint. I had my issues just like everybody else. I did people wrong and shit like that. But I don't think what I did was enough to warrant being made fun of for if I hear some shit on the internet by a stranger, which I have heard multiple occasions, I wouldn't give a fuck because they don't know me. But y'all already know how it is. It hurt a lot more to hear something about. It hurts to hear something from somebody that you loved at one point in time. You know what I mean? Like they use something against you. They know that you're going through something. They know you got your battles, internally and shit like that. And they'll use that against you just to hurt you. So that was tough too. It was a lot of shit, bro. That's a lot of shit. But regardless, it is what it is, man. I'm surprised all 30 people still tuned in. That must have been a real interesting story for y'all. Usually people be like, oh, he's not talking boxing anymore. Let's get the fuck out of here. But yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Life was can y'all imagine that shit though, bro? Like I'm out here whooping ass. I'm putting belt to feet out this motherfucker. I'm out here clicking off. I'm slowly but surely getting where I need to go with the boxing, and then boom, everything gone. That shit came with a whole lot of depression and, like I said, questioning God, questioning life, uh, questioning my purpose. And and I don't see this kid. I haven't seen this kid in years, man. But I got to thank this one kid named Amir, right? Because even after I had gotten sick, my dad still wanted me to coach fighters, right? He wanted me to help him manage fighters and coach fighters and shit like that. And at the time, I wasn't really interested in being a trainer because I was selfish, bro. I was concerned about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I was concerned about myself. I wanted to just focus on me. So when I had to shift my focus from me to somebody else, I'm like, bro, I had my own career that I wanted to do. Now I got to sit back and worry about somebody else's. So it sucked. That whole transition sucked. But there was this kid named Amir, right? He was a hell of a kid. He was a drummer, but he did like boxing on the side to help with his hand-eye coordination. And I was just like how I am now. Love boxing, love to teach boxing and stuff like that. That wasn't too big on coaching fighters, but I love teaching people how to box. And what was so crazy was in school, teachers always told me that I would be a great teacher. Swear to God, bro. Whenever I did like PowerPoint presentations or I explained how I did a math equation on the board, when they made us do like public speeches and shit like that, they always emphasized from elementary school all the way to high school. They always told me that I would be a great teacher all the time. And I was like, man, fuck, I look like being a teacher, right? I always thought that shit was corny. I was good at school, but I didn't really like school. So I was like, why the fuck would I be a teacher? Y'all don't even get paid. Like, this shit nutty. But come to think about it, I am a teacher. I'm just not the teacher that I just don't teach what they teach. You feel me? So they had the right idea. They knew all along. I didn't. They had an idea that I would be a teacher, but they didn't know what I would be teaching then. You feel me? So there was this kid named Amir. His name was Amir Lee, and I still got his mother on my boxing page account on Instagram. She said she was gonna bring him over, but she was just bullshitting or whatever the case is. She forgot whatever. This kid, when I was training him, he started off, like I said, just doing hand-eye coordination. And then I was just trying. I was really pushing him in the boxing aspect. He was coachable. He listened, and I noticed he was getting better. But I know that hitting a bag and actually hitting somebody is different. So I had him spar a kid from the gym, and he did phenomenal. Like, he did absolutely phenomenal. And I had people coming up to me, and they was like, "Yo, how many fights that kid got?" And I was like, "What?" I said, he ain't got no fights. He was like, "What? That kid he just sparred had 5 fights." And I was like, "What?" And he dominated. Like, he dominated the kid. He was like, "Man, you been coaching him?" I was like, "Yeah, we've been working." He was like, "Man," he said, "Man, you're teaching him some good stuff, man. You need to keep pushing that kid." And I was like, "Okay. So maybe I got a good idea of what I'm doing. Maybe I got a good idea of what I'm doing." So You know, I trained people at that gym for a little bit, but then when we opened our own gym, I just fully focused on pivot. And since then, I have a whole stable of amateur fighters. I got 3 fighters that I'm about to debut soon, but and then once my other fighters come back, it's gonna be raps. But yeah, I got some of the best amateurs in the city now, and you know, I would like to thank that kid Amir Lee because he's the one that really showed me that I could do this coaching shit. So yeah, man. That's pretty much my testimony for the day, y'all. That's my speech. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the channel, man. If y'all can hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated, man. I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful one, man. Peace.